Hey guys, welcome back to Accepting You, where we talk about topics that affect mental health. Today, our topic is how I got to a better state of mind because in our last video called What Triggered Me to Hit Rock Bottom, I talked about my childhood trauma with being sexually abused and how it triggered me to fall into a deep depression, attempting to take my life away, battling suicidal thoughts, self harm, balancing my emotions, and then being diagnosed with being bipolar. I think this is really important for me to talk about because many times I have come across many peers that I went to school with that got a glimpse of when I hit rock bottom. And many of the comments that they say is like, "Oh wow, Gabby, you're still alive? Are you still crazy?" Or I get comments like, "I'm glad that you got to a better place." And those comments, make me reflect. Make me reflect because it shows me how far I have pushed myself to get to a better place. But not only just how I push myself, but that it is reflecting. So, the first thing that I want to talk about how I got to a better state of mind is going to be therapy. The reason I'm saying therapy is because not only did it help me understand, but it helped me accept my childhood in the past that I had. Many times, I wanted to live in a lie. And because I wanted to live in a lie, I ended up I attempted to take my life away because of the pain that I actually was feeling and trying to ignore. However, because of me trying to take my life away, I ended up going to a mental institution, and after that I had to go to therapy. I was forced to, especially since I was 13 at that time. So I had no option. And when I got to therapy, it was very hard to get me to open up because I didn't want to talk about it with nobody. I kept telling many of my therapist, that she needed to just let it go, that me taking my life away was not a big deal. It was a mistake and it would not happen again. I just wanted to move on with my life. But she always would say, "Listen, you taking your life away is not a mistake. Something triggered it and we need to get to the bottom of it." So for a while, I went with a closed mind. And that's because I didn't want to accept that someone I loved sexually abused me and hurt me the way they did. So, like I said in my last video, living in the lie seemed way better. But at the end, because I was being exposed to opening myself up, that's when I was actually falling into a deeper depression because I was fighting the reality of my past. So I started falling into a deeper depression, battling suicidal thoughts, hurting myself, and then my emotions got everywhere to the point where I didn't know how to handle them. They were just very overwhelming, and when, for instance, say I was angry, I would explode, and I didn't know how to calm myself down until I just exploded with anger. And then, obviously, I would regret it. Due to that, me not knowing how to feel my emotions, many times I've gotten the question asked, "How is it that you didn't know?" Well, the reason I didn't know how to balance my emotions was because, like I said, when I chose to live in a lie, that meant that anything that triggered me to be sad, I automatically changed that feeling to being happy. And anything that triggered me to be angry, I changed that feeling for happiness. So in my mind, I only knew how to solve problems by being happy and not feeling the feeling that I was feeling. So now that I was actually accepting new feeling and like what had happened in my childhood, I no longer knew how to feel what those emotions were. So I had to get retaught that because of the way I was acting. So once I was able to tell my therapist, look, this is what happened in my childhood past. This is, this is really it. It not only allowed her to see what was going on and why my emotions were everywhere, but she was able to diagnose me with being bipolar. And once I was diagnosed with being bipolar, she gave me tools that helped me to be able to not only feel my emotions, but learn how to control them. And one way that she did that was by telling me to write my feelings in a notebook, whether I was angry or sad or happy, anything that I wanted to write. And as I was writing, I wrote whatever I felt, and then I would read it so I can actually analyze the feeling that I was feeling. Being able to recognize the feeling, it helped me not to feel overwhelmed by my emotions, because what caused me to get overwhelmed was not knowing how I felt. And I only was able to learn that through going to therapy, because they were teaching me coping skills, because my way of coping with not understanding my feelings and accepting my past was by hurting myself. So if I was sad, if I was angry, or if I was very depressed, I was cutting myself. And not only was I just cutting myself, I had to fight with my own thoughts on why I was worth living. So that is one of the things that I really do suggest, is that when you go to therapy, please open up. And I'm going to tell you that once you open up, you're going to see the true product of therapy. Many times I have heard and seen people go to therapy and say, I'm not opening up to this experiences, I don't even need therapy. However, when that happens, you're blocking yourself from being able to not only just heal, but get the proper help you need and the tools, because the tools are everything. You can think that you have it under control and you're spiraling, and therapy can actually give you that resource that you need in order to be calm during those times that you're going through a hard time. Many of those tools that I have learned from being at the age of 13, I still apply now into my life, and it has helped me. It also helped me to communicate. Many times I was very closed and I only like to keep everything inside, and I learned that keeping everything inside was harming me even more, especially with my parents. For the time that I was going to therapy, I remember that I did not want to talk to my parents, and I truly felt a feeling of hate towards them. And it's something I am not proud of. But at that time, I felt like I wish they would have been there more, and I had so many things to say to them. But having a therapist in the middle of these conversations not only helped me to control my feelings as I was expressing myself, but they also helped my parents understand where I was coming from. Because something I would like to say, especially in the Spanish culture, I hear many times a lot of parents in the Spanish culture have a hard time with therapy and allowing their kids to get that help, because that's taboo to them, and they feel like they feel like outcasts and don't understand why it's such a big deal to go to therapy. But this is where I feel like my parents pulled through, and they came to really show that, regardless what they were taught at a young age, that going to therapy was only for crazy people. But their thought was, I need to help my daughter. And them being able to see that therapy was actually helping me allowed us to be able to communicate and help me from that trauma to build a healthy relationship with them as well. So what I'm getting at is, when you truly open up to the experience of getting therapy, you are actually going to see results. If you close up, you're not. But I strongly suggest to anybody who is battling suicidal thoughts to really get help and find a therapist that can help you get through those times. And I really, really, really am asking you to find something to help you to get out of that dark place. Because like I told you, because of me attempting to take my life away, I had to go to a mental institution. And I am not ashamed, because I know that I could get criticized for having to go to such a place. But let me tell you something. The way the movies describe mental institutions, it's not like that. I met a lot of young girls my age battling, and I'm gonna tell you what it feels like to be there. You're lonely and you literally hit rock bottom and you do not know how to get out, and everything is just at a worse place. And I was scared because I couldn't believe how hard I felt. So before anyone or you are thinking about suicidal thoughts, stop and take a minute and don't allow yourself to fall where I fell. That's why I'm doing this video. That's why I open up about my past. I don't mind somebody saying, wow, she's nuts, she's crazy. Fine, do that. That's on you. But I feel like when I see many teenagers that have come up to me and say, Gabby, I'm going through something similar that you went through when you were younger. What can I do? Can you please help me? My story is now helping someone else. So that's why, I'm doing this right now. Maybe it could help somebody else. I do have another thing that did help me to get to a better state of mind, and there will be a second video to this, and it will be the last one. But if you guys have any questions or want to ask me something, go to Instagram at Accepting You, and it's where you can DM me anything and you could follow. But this is it, guys, and just like, subscribe, leave a comment, share this to anybody. You never know who this could help. And thank you so much. Have a blessed day, guys.